I'm gonna take you a little bit back to how it all began. It all began when I was working as a delivery driver back in Denmark in 2021, 2022, the COVID times, and a little bit before that. Those were the glory days of food delivery, I might add, and I was the absolute champion of the city when it came to delivering food. The motherfucking number one, I might add, okay? But that did not change the fact that they wanted us to become a one-man company. The food delivery company that we work for, they wanted us to become a one-man company. So we had to sign up as a company, so that meant we did not get any holiday money. We didn't get all the benefits, sick leave that you get when you are a normal employee. But on the other hand, we would get discounts, tax deductions on things, on gasoline, on things you need, like the vehicle itself, your phone, clothes, gasoline, and so on. And then after some years working with this, the state and the delivery company, they came to a feud. They had a feud. And they decided that with backwards power, all the deductions from these one-man companies will go back. So that meant that suddenly I'm in a position where I'm owing around $20,000 for deductions that I was not eligible for, and I also did not get the holiday money. That's a problem right there, right? Because suddenly I'm in debt, and I've never liked to be in debt. I was not in debt before that. Then after some time, my friend Casper, he told me, hey, get this job here as a handicap helper. You can work 24-hour shift. You can get paid a lot, and maybe you can get another property, or your first property, well, second property, because I was living in my garden house by then. But the problem was, I'm suddenly in a lot of debt. So the bank is like, oh, we ain't gonna borrow you shit, because you owe money. You clearly don't have your finances in order. So I set about 3/4 of the down payment, and I borrowed a little bit from my parents to acquire my first rental property cash. So I bought the first one cash, something that almost no one does, buying properties cash. So I did that, and I started renting it out, and it's still renting out, except for right now. There's a slight problem. I'll get to that a bit later. And I ended up paying back the debt that I now have from my parents in around 6 months, even though the deal was to do it in 10 months. So after this solution of the problem had happened, I decided, well, I quickly want to get another place, and I want to work more hours so I can get more money, so I can show the bank more beautiful papers so they can loan me the money for the next one. Because my plan was not to get rid of the debt. My plan was to still see if I can acquire some place. Maybe by the grace of God, I could get some help and not have to pay off the debt, so I can perhaps just get a loan arrangement or a pay arrangement. So I pay the money in parts, right? But the bank again did not accept these terms. So this time, for the second place, I had to pay off the debt because the second apartment was a little bit more expensive. So I paid off the debt fully, and then I got my second place with a 5% down payment. And mind you also that at the same time I was renting all these places out, and I'm working around 80 to 100 work hour weeks. And it was not easy. But it is what it is, right? Come from a blessed country, you can get a lot of money for working hard and long shifts. So that's what I did. Plan was very, very simple. Then 6 months after this happened, I decided, well, now I want to get my third place, right? I want to get my summer house. So I called my bank again. I told them, hey, I want to get my summer house now. Look at how much money I'm earning is totally off the grid, how much money I'm making working, and woo, I'm the big man, right? But the bank told me, nah, it's too fast. You're not even had these two places for a whole year, and you already want to get your third place. I was told, yeah, because look, I have the paper, I have the plan. It all makes 100% sense. Even if you look at the paper, even if I don't pay a dime of what I'm supposed to pay on the mortgage, you cannot lose because I'm doing a down payment of 25% or 30% if they want. But still, for some reason, they said no. So I called every other bank in the area until one said yes. And I promise you, every single one of them said no, except for one bank. This last bank said yes. So I got the papers, I got everything in order, and then I get the call from this bank that said yes. And they tell me, we have reevaluated it and we've seen how fast you're moving. We would actually like to pull back. We're not gonna help you get your summer house now. So this bank specialized in private property, like a place that you live in, and this was a summer house. But anyway, they still said yes, but then they said no. Then, at the same time that this was going on, my original bank called me, and they had somehow they have heard that I got an approval from a bank. So what they did, they wanted suddenly to go through with it. So then I acquire my third place by the lockout draw, right? Because I was moving at an insane speed that should not be possible. So I acquire this last place in Denmark, my fourth property in Denmark. And I'm taking my sweet time because this gentleman that I bought it from, he lived there himself. So he emptied the place out completely. So I now have to fully furnish it, just like I did with the studio apartments. But this one is a house, a 3-bedroom house, right? 4-bedroom house. And it's humongous. So it took me many months. I also got a sauna. I got it from Germany. I had to get someone to go and pick it up all the way down in Germany. And that was also a complicated endeavor. But we managed, right? We get the place, I got the place, and the ball started rolling. So then again, because I'm a little bit greedy, I'm still working 100-hour work weeks. I get another job with this young handicapped man, which was not handicapped enough to get a 24-hour helper, if you ask me, in my opinion. So I loved it, right? I was just sitting there playing video games, with him, ridiculous circumstances, to be honest. But that aside, I had some beef with the father of that house, right? I already had enough beef with my own father, but this little scrawny man was, living on his, they call it førtidspension, because I got a little shoulder injury. So he just was pathetic in my optic. And everything he did was something that could hold his own son down, if you ask me. He never wanted more for him, truly. What he wanted was, again, the safety and the security and keeping him safe through unsafe methods, especially when you have some handicap which can create difficulties for your life. I think you should still challenge yourself, find a way, believe in yourself, and you cannot have a dad who tells you, no, you should just apply for early retirement because you can't do anything. You can't do anything, little son. You're completely helpless. And I was trying to motivate this young man and to help him a little bit, to push him, to tell him that I believe in him. He can do something. You don't just have to get an early retirement. For your own soul, that will not be good for you. Anyway, the man and me, we had beef. So one day we had a little stare down, and the next day I was fired. Anyway, moving on. This is when I decided with my friend William, fuck this, I don't even want to be in Denmark anymore. Quitting all the jobs, and I'm just leaving, okay? I got my properties in place. I got more than enough money with 3 properties. The 4th that I'm living in myself, I can sell that, get some more money, buy some more in another country. And I didn't know how the systems worked in the other country. So what happened was, moving on, we moved to the Philippines. And here in the Philippines, if we go straight to the first problem was, how do we make some money here? How do we not become useless idiots? And obviously, one of the important things is stay fit, right? So you have to work out every day, and you need a plan now, because you cannot rely on the Danish security. So the plan is to build this community where I can help other people obtain places, and by helping them, I will also learn more, which is brilliant, right? I love learning, and I love hopefully being able to teach someone the tips and tricks that I have done to maximize my rental income. And I have been told, and I know so myself, that I am very good at it. I am very good at maximizing my rental properties. So anyway, we're in the Philippines, right? We're working on this website, and we build like the whole thing, and then we decide to scratch the whole shit. And that was like 3 months. And then we build it up again from zero, and we take a little different approach to it. We also want to give out some content for free. We also want to, maybe do some personal coaching, because there's so much information out there that some of the value that people might actually derive for you is if they have some time with you one-on-one, where you can specifically help them for their own personal situation. So what we did was we built the whole plan surrounding this idea that they have to fill out the form where they tell us about their specific situation, where they want to be, where they have been, how much debt they have, and so on. This can go on for hours if I'm going to go to all the details. So anyway, what this is going on, we see on Facebook, because I'm always researching properties, because that's my thing. I'm researching and I'm seeing properties for sale, and I'm like, should we buy something cash? Yes, no, yes, no. And then I come across this agent, and she told me, well, you can actually assume a property, which means that you assume the loan that someone else has already qualified for. So we did this, we found this place, we loved the place, and we decided, well, let's assume this place, right? So then we buy this place, we assume the loan, so now it's in our name. And this guy who we bought from, I believe he had some difficulties managing money, because our deal was, we're gonna rent to own for the first 6 months. Well, you can call it rent to assume, rent to own, it's the same stuff. You will assume the mortgage, rent to own the mortgage and the loan. You get the point. And the deal was, we're gonna rent to own for 6 months, and that money is gonna go also towards the payment, and after those 6 months, the place will be ours. Because we wanted to test the waters. Is it a good idea to have this place? Maybe not. Maybe we'll just accept the loss and pay a little bit more, but we'll see if it's even profitable, and we can move on. We quickly found out it was a really good business, so we have kept it now. But this guy was not paying his mortgage while we were renting to own. So all of a sudden, we get like a, what do you call that letter, William? A cease and, letter of demand, right? Where they say, you have not been paying for 6 months, and if you don't pay next, we're gonna take everything from you. And give you that the place is not in our name yet, fully. So we're about to lose this deal, so we drag the guy in to the lawyers, and we have a discussion of what the hell is going on, and he's very angry that we opened the letter, and suddenly we are in uncharted territory, because we don't know exactly what we're going to do now, because this guy hasn't been paying his mortgage. So what we do is we decide to just buy him off then and there, and we also want a little bit of payment for damages, right? Because he's wasting our time completely, and we have to pay a lawyer now and all this stuff. So we got a small deduction, and then we bought the whole place, and we assumed it in one go, and we have the first place. And now we're renting out that place. So that's how we acquired the first property in the Philippines, through some degenerate gambler. Anyway, while all this is going on, I also have one of my apartments in Denmark, you might have seen in the last video, that got completely destroyed. And the first apartment that I promised you I was going to go back to, the first apartment has recently gotten water pipe damages underneath my floor. So the building managers, they have ripped up the whole stuff, and it's just pure chaos. I'll show some pictures here, 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 and here. You see? Very bad. So yeah, I mean, look, problems are gonna occur no matter what. But you know what you need to have? You need to have your principles and your systems in order, okay? And I get that if you are starting up, you can you maybe have to take a little bit more shit from people. And that was actually why I didn't do that with the dad when I was working for the young handicapped man, because his dad was just a useless piece of shit, if you ask me. But if it was the beginning, you would be much more humble, right? You'll be like, oh, well, I guess you're right. Okay, I'll accept that you don't even believe in your own son. But yeah, all this aside, the sixth property. How do we get the sixth property? The sixth property is very interesting because we were living in a house at this time, and then when the lease for this place ran out, the contract, we decided to move into this place, actually, which is a 2-bedroom in the Philippines with a beautiful ocean view and mountain view on the other side, sun rising by the sea and sunset by the mountains. Very beautiful. So the way we got this was we wanted to assume it again, but this place was paid cash by the owner. So the owner and the married couple, right? They owned the place flat out, and so we cannot assume anything. We can only buy it. So what they helped us do actually is they got one of their friends to acquire the property, and then we assumed it from them. Right, so they got the nice papers so they could show the bank, so they could get some approval from them, and then we assumed it from them. So again, special thanks to you guys for helping us with that. We really appreciate the place. We renovated the whole place. I put some pictures here of how the place was before and after. There you go. Yep, you see, very beautiful. So listen, it's life is a journey, and if you're willing to accept that there will be problems, but you have to keep chasing solutions, then you will find out that it's all gonna be alright no matter what you do. If you have your systems in place and your systems to resolve systems, then you'll be okay. So this was a small update on problems and solutions. I hope you got some value out of it. If you would like to have some properties, join me, click the link down below, and I'll help you get a personal plan to obtain financial freedom. It's easier than you think.